straight into it today. Just a few things. I don't know. I'm feeling okay now. When I just like had a bit of a late start to the day, so sometimes I wake up and then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I want to go back to sleep for a bit. I'm like, okay, but yeah, I don't really set an alarm per se. So sometimes when I wake up the second time, it could be like much later. So that's kind of what it was today. And I'd never really wake up this late, but I was like, oh well, it's already that time, so I think I just needed the sleep. But anyway, I'm going to get into today's video, which is kind of about weird sports, kind of fitting for talking about running, etc. Like the ones that you wouldn't have heard of. So 30 weird sports played around the world. So the first is ostrich racing. So originated in Africa, ostrich racing has become quite popular, making its way to the United States. Ostriches can reach a marvelous speed of almost 70 kilometers per hour, and this makes it exciting for the onlooker. It's interesting for people actually being on ostriches. I'm not sure if they would like that. Not sure if it's something I definitely would agree with. But yeah, the next one is toe wrestling. Have you heard of thumb wrestling? Well, it's that, except some people don't like thumbs, so it's thumb wrestling with your toes, of course. Underwater hockey. It is, as it sounds, it is hockey played underwater with paddles to hit a puck into the opponent's skull. While it is difficult to play it is even more difficult to watch it live. Oh yeah, because yeah, honestly, you wouldn't really be able to watch it live unless it was like, say, like a pool that where the onlookers, like, it's one pool and it's like contained, and then if you're in another pool, because obviously you wouldn't be in the area where they're playing if you're a spectator, but perhaps they have another pool where you can see into the pool, like but it's barred off, and perhaps and then you could look. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I just made that up. So chess boxing. Someone out there got tired of categorizing brain and brawn separately and just meshed it together for a chess boxing. The participants have it to be skilled at chess as well as boxing. There are alternate rounds of the two. Let your brain rest while your body beats it out, and let your body breathe while your brain exercises its craftiest moves. Interesting. For sure. I guess because the typical chess player, or at least what you see in shows and stuff, would be like a geeky, like scrawny person who, probably wouldn't be the best boxer. Can't make assumptions, but yeah. Sorbing, I have heard of this actually. So this is the act of getting into large transparent balls and racing down hills through waters or other obstacles. And yes, this giant ball. Shovel racing, it's making its way to the first Winter X Games in 1997. This sport involves sitting on a shovel and racing down an icy hill. Sport hawking, originated in Germany. Sport hawking is flipping, spinning, and even sliding a brightly colored plastic bar stool. The oddest thing about this sport, if the previously mentioned information was enough, is that at the end of each trick or combo, the hawker gains respect by sitting back down the stool like nothing happened, even if he hurt himself and the pain is unbearable. Okay, I don't know. Wife carrying. So this list just gets weirder. This sport has its roots in Finland. Men are supposed to carry their wives through obstacle courses in the shortest time. The prize, the wife's weight in beer. What else? Okay. Cycle ball. So this is a competition between teams of two. The goal is to get the ball into the goal using only the wheels of the cycle and their heads. Spebak Tokra. Spebak Tokra literally translates to kickball. It's an interesting mix of volleyball and football with a bit of a matrix type martial arts thrown into the mix. There are teams of 3 players on each side of the net, and they have to score by even heard of it. During the spring bank holiday in England, people gather at the top of Cooper's Hill. A judge rolls down a round of cheese, and the participants race each other downward to win the cheese. It was actually like quite a small roll, like cheese thin in this, but in the Gilmore Girls, I'm not sure if it's this or not or something else. It was like a giant wheel of cheese. Dog surfing. This might be the cutest sport of all. Dog surfing has caught the fancy of quite many people all over the internet recently. Started in San Diego, it has spread quickly across America and Australia too. All you have to do is train your dog to stay upright with you on a surfboard while hitting the waves. Simple. Not. I actually have heard of that just recently because someone brought it up to me. Because I don't know if it was because of this or not, but apparently like the dogs can communicate. Even cats do it too. There's something where they hit the different, somehow you train them to know what the different words mean, etc. And then they can, hit different buttons on the ground to communicate what they're feeling. It can be quite funny to watch. Oh, I kind of thought this might make an appearance. I was thinking of this when I thought of a list. Quidditch. This is a dream come true for all the Potterheads out there. The idea of Quidditch, the fictional game for wizards, was so enthralling that fans made it a real sport. A team of 7 plays with a broom between their legs. It combines aspects of rugby, dodgeball, and tag, but of course, it's not like in the Harry Potter movies or books. It's not actually in the air. It's like what you can actually do on the ground. So probably the broom just makes it harder to run if you're running on the ground, Next up is Bossa Ball. The sport found seeding ground in Spain is purely for adrenaline junkies. It is loosely based on the concept of volleyball, except there's a trampoline instead of the hard ground. So, World Gurning Contest. This is a contest where a person who can pull the ugliest face wins. You think this is a weird new age thing, but gurning contests originated in 1297 at the Ergmont Crab Fair in the UK. It says join this historic game and cheer their contestants in pulling the ugliest face ever with their UK holiday packages. I'm not sure if that's probably it's Thomas Cook. I think that's like a place where they sell holidays, or you can apply to work there, like a hotel group. I'm not sure, honestly. Extreme ironing. This sport is loved by self-proclaimed ironists that enjoy going to remote locations and ironing clothes. Bizarre doesn't even cover it. Bed racing. It's the first bed racing contest held in the North Yorkshire town of Knaresborough in 1965 was only open to Army, Navy and Marines, but today the competition is open to one and all. Each team of 5 is to make a bed in line with the theme of the year that has 4 wheels but can also float. The 3 km race has the unbelievable challenge of crossing a river too. So it seems like some people are, one person is kind of like on the bed and the 4 people are like pulling it, and like it seems like the person in the bed is kind of like just has to stay on. I think they have to hold themselves on, like they don't get strapped in, I'm not sure, but it seems like he's supporting himself on either side, and then the other people they're all dressed up as cows, honestly, but I'm not sure why. Oh, poo sticks. I used to play this all the time. We used to play with a bridge near our place. We used to do this. It's like a thing we used to do as kids. A simple sport involves players dropping a stick on the upstream side of a bridge. The one whose stick first makes it to the downstream side is declared the winner. There's an annual World Poo Sticks Championship too that has been held at River Thames in the UK since 1984. It's funny because when you do it, honestly, we're not like in a real competition, so we just kind of find something close to the bridge. It's not always like a stick per se or the sturdiest thing, and what happens is that I played it semi-recent, I don't know, just one time. It's me, my brother, my mom, and my brother's one was the only one that made it to the other side that we saw, at least. So the rest kind of, I think wherever we played, there must be a lot of rocks or something under the bridge, because a lot of the time, one of them or 2 of them Oil wrestling is one of the oldest competitions that are held in Kirkpinar, Turkey, and sorry for the mispronunciation. In June each year, the contestants wrestle each other while being covered head to toe in olive oil. Okay. Unicycle polo. So polo is a classy, refined sport of the elite. Unicycle polo is a nightmare. Replace the horse with a one-wheeled cycle. Same rules, same goal, but much harder. It's impossible to keep a straight face while watching someone play this. I could not do well on a unicycle. And then it's like, this article is also like promotional for like buying the holidays or whatever, so there's some random like links or promotional events in between, but I'm skipping those. So caber toss, I believe that's how you say it. Caber toss hails from Scotland, where they found that the way they had most fun was by tossing large wooden poles over certain distances. Who said that was strenuous and not fun? A cherry on top, the participants have to wear kilts while participating in this sport. Okay. Ferret legging. So this sounds like a gag prank out of a Charlie Chaplin movie. Take our word for it. The participants tie the pants shut at the ankle so there's no escape route and drop ferrets into the pants. The person that holds both for the longest time wins. Who thinks of these things? So like, how long you can last with like a ferret trying to get around your pants? I don't know. Honestly, would not do that. And like probably not very fun for the ferrets either. I'm not sure. Like hopefully it wouldn't harm them, but so Carpet Tube Fighting League. The Carpet Tube Fighting League organizes events each year all throughout the US and Australia. At these events, the warriors meet to duel it out with flimsy and homemade armor for protection. It gives you a chance to battle it out responsibly and look ridiculous dressed in cardboard at the same time. So, next up, Fireball Soccer. There's only so much you can do with soccer to make it different, or so you think. Enter Fireball Soccer. This played with a ball made from coconut and soaked in gasoline for almost a week before lighting it up for the match. Like this wasn't adventurous enough, the game is played barefoot. Interesting. Goanna pulling among the weird sports in the world. Australians have a lot of free time on their hands. The sport of guana pulling originated in the 19th century to honor the giant lizard. Native to the continent, the contestants tie leather straps around their necks, mimic the reptile's posture, and try to pull each other across the line. Let's not even discuss the rogue burn marks on their neck afterwards. Yeah, that does not sound fun. Kaiju Big Battle. So the Kaiju Big Battle is the amalgamation of WWE style wrestling, sci-fi movies, and performance art. Contestants dress up in the most elaborate creature costumes they can lay their eyes on, enter a cage with tiny skyscrapers, and fight it out. Not everyone dreamt of being Power Rangers as a kid. Some wanted to be the creatures. So, Jugger among the weird sports in the world, yeah. So this one takes games to the next level. Jogger is a combat sport that takes cinematic inspiration from the 80s movie Salute of the Jugger. In the movie, teams are armed with swords, chains, and maces and are trying to knock each other out, while the one unarmed player tries to score a goal using a dog's skull as a ball. To even dream of making this game a reality would be insanity. The casualties being the least of worries, hence the team has been toned down considerably without losing any of its charm. All the weaponry and the dog skull are replaced with foam covered props. Okay, so it's not actually a dog skull, okay. Hopefully. Milk Garden Regatta, so waste not, want not. The people who came up with this rate took the phrase way too seriously. Milk Garden Regattas are when racers fashion boats and floating devices out of used milk gardens. They compete to be the fastest this vessel, or at least the last one left afloat. 360-degree ball, so quite an interesting twist to this game, pun intended. It is played in a circular court and is a mashup of squash and tennis. The ball is bounced off the black circle in the middle once during each player's turn. Oh, I think I missed one. Beer mile. So there is no other sport so much like a college-worthy event as this. Beer mile is, as the name suggests, runners running around a track, stopping for a quick beer between every lap. It goes without saying that parfum is expected. I don't know, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, apparently, I don't know if I talked about this before, but apparently in the London Marathon, like this year, there was a guy who had a wine at like every mile. Maybe, I guess he had friends waiting for him, or must have been something organised. I don't know how they would have got to every single mile like that. I'm not really sure. Different people like switching it up, or I don't know how they did it, or if it was specific to him or not, or whatever. But he drank a glass. I'm not sure if he actually had to drink the whole glass or he just had a taste. It makes more sense if it was a taste. But yeah, he had some wine and he had identified like the wine, the year, and all of this. And I swear he got like 24 out of 26 right. I'm not sure. And he still got like a respectable marathon time. Like, I swear his marathon time was still faster than me after drinking all this wine. I'm not saying my marathon time is good, but yeah, I'm definitely going for better in the next one. My 4:30 dreams are gonna happen. We'll see. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, apparently there is like a boozy marathon in like France or something, which makes sense. In France, we are meant to drink wine quite regularly, so it's more about like running straight at the end, or crossing the line. That like running the whole thing. It's kind of weird when they mix alcohol with sports, because I get the whole point of kind of sports is to be kind of healthy and stuff like that. Like, you don't drink a lot when you're marathon training at all. Like, I find it doesn't really go to drink stuff when you're running. Like, I had a few drinks over the course of training, but not much. And that's about it, really. Especially like I always say over the course of training, that's like in the evening, like night before a run or night before a rest day, but not when I am actually running, you know. That sounds like just, it's gonna make you sick. I can feel like sometimes nauseous enough a little bit after a high effort run without having to worry about beer or whatever. So next up we have this other article all about weird stuff, sports, but it's weird because you have to kind of click into each one individually, so it's kind of alphabetically ordered. And I have loads of tabs open, so hopefully that will definitely be enough, because I actually didn't think the other article was going to be that long. But yeah, the first one is apple racing, and yeah, this will be alphabetical. So the great Huon Apple Race, HUON. Have you ever raced an apple before? This event, held every year, involves launching a floating apple from the bridge at Huonville and watching it race 300 meters down the picturesque Huon River. Is now part of the Apple and Salmon Race. So it's kind of like the Boostix Bridge then, or I'm not sure. Is it always a bridge with the Boostix? I know for sure we do it like that. Yeah, it is a bridge. So, yeah. The owner of the first apple across the line wins. The sale of apples at $3 each or four for $10 is a fundraiser for the Rotary Club of Huon Valley. Huon Valley is in Tasmania, Australia, so I wonder if you have to buy an apple from them, because they're quite expensive apples actually, but it's a fundraiser. So balloons, a game of keep up. In the unusual sport of balloons, players attempt to keep a balloon in the air, winning points if the opposition player fails to hit the balloon before it hits the ground. This is a traditional activity played in homes across the world, but has recently been turned into competitive sport. The sport is also known as keep up or keep it up, or some variation of this. The rules of the competition are quite simple. Players have to keep the balloon up, and points are scored if their opponent fails to prevent it from touching the ground. The aim is to hit the balloon away from your opponent. It can be hit upwards or sideways, but not down. And once hit, the players must not purposely block their opponent. Any part of the body can be used to hit the balloon. Okay, so you're not actually... Okay, so you can make it hard for the opponent to hit the balloon, but you can't purposely block them from doing it, you know? Okay. So Baby Olympics, Bahrain Baby Olympics. So an unusual event called the Bahrain Baby Games was organized by the Bahrain Olympic Committee in 2018. This Baby Olympics event was created to inspire kids to get into sports. It may have been inspired by the Olympic Channel, who released spoof videos in April 2017. Baby Games and Baby Winter Games, showing young kids participate in Olympic sport. So the competitors in the Bahrain Baby Games were aged between 2 and 5 years old and competed in 5 different sports: athletics, gymnastics, football, and basketball. There were also demonstration events, a below 12 months crawling contest, and a below 15 months kids walker competition. The first Baby Games event took place from 5th to 10th of May 2018, held is a sports city in Rifa, Bahrain, and included about 1,200 kids from 66 nurseries and kindergartens. And athletics events included a medley relay for 4-year-olds, a hurdles toddle for 3-year-olds, a 15-meter freestyle race for 2-year-olds. The other events were a gymnastics freestyle moose contest, football free kick, each show had 5 attempts at a target, free throw basketball contest, and a weightlifting show. It's not the first time sporting events have been organized for young children. There are numerous baby crawling races held around the world. On the Ellen DeGeneres TV show, she held a Baby Olympics segment in 2018. That does actually sound kind of fun, as long as you're not forced to do it and you kind of want to do it as a kid. But I did see, I think I was on Facebook, it kind of popped up advertising some Iron Man or Kids Iron Man thing to me, and I was like, it's probably because everything Google everywhere is watching what you look up, and it probably knows I've been looking up some Iron Man YouTube and stuff like that, but not a kids one. I'm not sure what age. I think it was 7 to 17. I'm not sure age wise. I guess they would have. I was gonna say that seems really unfair to have 7-year-olds competing against 17-year-olds. But I think the thing is, especially since if you're 7, as long as you're 17, not 18, you could literally be 18 next month, you're nearly an adult competing. But I think they must for sure have different categories, etc. I'm not sure people compete. I'm not sure how big. It wasn't an actual Ironman, of course. It must have been a way smaller event. But I'm sure they would have categories based on age. But I guess it's kind of you don't really know where you are in the category when you're doing it. But for sure, people in high school or wherever, secondary school, I'm not sure, doing track events at 14, 15, 16, all of those be much more competitive than a 10-year-old. But there are fast 10, 12, whatever year olds too, of course. But yeah, so next up is Bag Game. Bag Game is a game played in Scotland. It's a version of medieval football. It's usually played around the Christmas season. Bag is just a term for village football. In this game, 2 parts of the village need to get a ball to their side. The 2 teams are the uppies and the downies. The players should belong to a certain group depending on which town they were born or they hold allegiance with. And just saying, yeah, sorry if I'm talking a bit fast today's video. I have to get used to talking slow again. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a lot of time to film something, so I feel like I'm in a rush, so I'll talk faster, even though I kind of stop filming when the video is 40 minutes, so talking fast doesn't make the video over soon if it's time-paced. So it's but I just naturally go faster anyway. in sand time, but sometimes it's good to run for time too and mix it up, etc. So yeah, the next one is Banai races. So Banai is a horse race found only in Japan. It requires a draft horse to pull a weighted sled up sand ramps with a jockey on the back to encourage the horse onward. The track is covered in dirt with ropes that separate the course into lanes. The horses are expected to carry anywhere between 450 kilos to 1 ton on their carts, depending on their class. There are 2 obstacles or hills that the horses must climb throughout the track. After the first climb, the horse is often given a short break before tackling the next. So this sport was likely to have begun sometime in the pre-Meiji era and was inspired by agricultural work. Eventually, festivals became a place for locals to bring the horses to test their speed and strength. In 1953, Banai grew in popularity and races could be seen in Kitami, Ashikiwa, Misawa, and Obihiro. However, the sport lost significant revenue, and by 2007, many of the tracks shut down. Currently, the only place to see Banai is at the Obihiro racecourse in Hokkaido, Japan. I'm sorry for my horrible pronunciation of all these names. The sport is losing its popularity and already almost disappeared completely in 2006. So an interesting fact is the horses used in Banai are often purebred or crosses of Breton, Belgian, or Bergeron breeds. These horses are used either for racing or for meat. Bathtubing. So bathtubing, the unusual sport of racing in bathtubs called bathtubing, has been around for a long time. There are many variations and there seems to be a few world championships held around the world. The bathtub can be either propelled by a motor or paddled like a canoe. One such event had the following race: 100-meter individual time trial race against the stopwatch around a 100-meter circuit. Multi-bathtub races up to 4 bathtubs racing at a time around a 100-meter circuit. Synchronized bathtubing. 2 people in a bathtubing facing each other. One must paddle backwards while the other paddles forward. The pair must negotiate the 100-meter course in the quickest time. The Loyal Non-Emo Bathtub Society organized an event that was first held in 1967 in which motor-powered bathtubs raced over a 36-mile course. The first event was mayhem on the water, which resulted in rules being put in place to limit the horsepower of the boats. Bats. That does make sense. That it would be crazy. You need to definitely have limits for that. Chaos in the water. I wonder why all this exists. I guess, just for sports, what is the point of all this? For fun, really, in the end. I mean, nowadays, sports, maybe not these ones, but, it's very, it's not just for fun, it's for money, as a lot of things in this world, money. Sports players seem to make a lot of money, and there's a lot of money going into these events, depending, which level you are, the top sports players, etc. And yeah, they have to do a lot of training and all of that, a lot of pressure. And in universities and colleges, especially in the US, and so these sports scholarships is a huge thing for sports over arts, because sports bring in money, I guess, really. So yeah, so Bo Daoshi. So in Japan, there's an unusual sport called Bo Daoshi, which is a capture the flag-like game. Bo Daoshi translates to bring a bowl down. It's a rugged game played by cadets of Japan's National Defense Academy during its anniversary, where 2 teams of 150 players compete for each other's bowl. It's also commonly played during schools' sports days. Teams are divided into 2 groups, where 75 players are the attackers and the other 75 are the defenders. The defenders will start to defend their own bowl, while the attackers will position to get to the other team's bowl. Positions in the defensive half include bowl support, holes in the bowl in the vertical position, barrier, protect the bowl, interface, movements in the offensive position include the sprint, board, scrum, lead their offensive team members so they could jump over the barrier and have trouble-free access to the other team's poles. Pole attackers takes the ninja down and helps in bringing the other team's pole down. The general support attackers. The tactic is simply by punching, kicking, and gouging. So to win Daoshis, the team must be able to lower the pole of the other team to a 30-degree angle before the other team reaches this goal. A 35-degree angle will be the basis to determine if the team wins the game. Have a look at this crazy video, so I'm not going to do that now, obviously, but yeah, it sounds quite complex. I'm going to have some water. World Beard and Mustache Championships. If you like a bit of facial hair, this may be the competition for you. Men with elaborate beards and mustaches come together every 2 years for the World's Beard and Mustache Championships. The competition involves men with lengthy, highly styled facial hair. The first championships was held in Hofen, Enns, Germany in 1990. The next competition will I'm not sure when this article was written, because I feel like it said will be, like that must be a while ago this was written, in 2011 in Trondheim, Norway. That's quite a big difference between events, 21 years. So competition rules for the competition, there are 4 categories of facial hair, with each category broken into 17 to 18 individual categories: mustache, sideburn, partial beard, and full beard. And then so there's 4 categories of those, and then they're each broken into different categories, which obviously we're not going to go into right now, I guess. Okay, this is the beer mile, but I'm going to talk a bit more about this because it did sound intriguing. Not that I want to do it, but it's just like, it sounds like, why would anyone do that? So we're going to talk a little more about the beer mile. The beer mile is a race that combines drinking beer and running a mile. The race is said to have originated in Canada in 1989. The races usually take place around a 400-meter running track requiring 4 laps. So the participants have a drink of beer before they start and before each subsequent lap of the track before racing or staggering to the finish line. The suggested drink is a 12 US ounce can of beer or at least 5% alcohol. Standard North American rules stipulate that any participant that vomits before finishing the race must complete an extra penalty lap, and I think the extra penalty lap, they'd also have to have another beer than everyone else. The current men's world record holder is James Nielsen, who completed the course in 4:47. That's crazy, actually. Because the mile, like, that's a bit slower, obviously, than the world record for the mile. But thinking they had to stop to drink a full beer in between, you know. He began with the first runner in the world to break the 5-minute beer mile. He spent approximately 30 seconds drinking his beers, so he must be really fast anyway. Chris Kimbrough ran 6:28 6 mile to break the long-standing female record, beating Sienna Robertson, who ran 6:42 in 1997. In 2014, disgraced cyclist Lance Armstrong disgraced himself even more when he attempted a beer mile. After he chugged a beer, ran one lap well behind the leaders and grabbed another beer, he dropped out. The inaugural Flow Beer Mile World Championships was held in Austin, Texas, December 2014. So this article seems to have been a good while ago that this was written. So next up is beer crate running. So Kastenlauf, the German unusual sport of beer crate running, known as Kastenlauf, is popular in the German-speaking countries of Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. The race is between teams of 2 who are required to carry a crate of beer over a course of about 10 kilometers. The crate of beer must be consumed before the team crosses the finish line. My first thought was whether it would be better to drink all the beer early on in the race to save carrying the heavy crate the whole way, or to carry it while sober and drink the beer when you near the finish line. I'm sure many discussions have been had about this. Okay. Because if you drink it at the start, like, it depends how much it is, maybe it'll be enough to, like, slow you down, you know, because, you know, you're slower moving, I guess, when you're drunk. I'm gonna do, like, maybe 1 or 2 more, we'll see. Oh, beer pong, of course. So beer pong, also known as Beirut, is the staple game of World Series of Beer Pong, some standards rule had to be set down for any game. The rules need to be agreed upon before starting play. Often there are house rules that need to be followed, so generally the game is often played with teams of 2 to 4, with 6 or 10 plastic cups arranged in a triangle of each end. Players throw the ping pong balls, trying to land it in an opponent's cup. Once the ball has been sunk in a cup, that cup is then eliminated from the game and the opponent consumes the cup's contents. So the rules used for the World Series includes 2 players per team, 2 balls per game, 2 shots per side except first toss, and 10 cups per side. Also, players do not have to play with beer. They can choose to play with water at their discretion. So the World Series of Beer Pong 8 was held in Vegas in January 2013, 160 teams attended. Some take it pretty serious, as you can expect, for $50,000 first prize. Some teams opted to fill some of their cups with water, and competition organizers only filled 4 of the 10 cups with liquid. The winning team was called Drinkin' Smokin' Straight West Coastin' from California. So, yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. Yeah, I've actually played beer pong a good few times. When I was traveling, I stayed at a hostel a bit, and it was a bit of a party hostel, if I'm being honest. So, they had house rules for beer pong, etc. They got quite good at the end. Once I tried to host a beer pong tournament, like, kind of by myself, the owner wasn't there, but I made a mistake. I think I made it too complex. I think I couldn't decide how many cups to do, and I think I did. I can't remember what the mistake was. I think it was something to do with, like, having too many cups, so the games were taking too long, and he had a rule that, like, we should stop playing beer pong at a certain time, so there were never winners in the end, so it was kind of fake, like, me telling people to play because of, like, they'll get a prize if they win, but then, like, no one won anything, but I don't know, either way. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll